Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and I am really excited to talk to you today. Sitting down on the mic after I've had a little bit too much caffeine, and I am ready to chat with you about something that's been on my heart all week. There has been this reoccurring theme since the retreat that is all about identity. And I noticed it a lot in the women who came to the retreat who had, time to sit down and realize that maybe they had been living a totally different life than what they thought they would be living by now. Or maybe they went through something really big and really traumatic and have no idea how to find themselves or feel like themselves again after something so big. And I keep seeing this theme, not only in the women at the retreat, but just over and over again on social media, in books I'm reading, and it just keeps popping up for me. And when that happens, I know it is meant to be shared. I know it's something that I need to focus on for myself. And typically when that happens, it also means for you too. So is this something that you struggle with? Are you struggling with feeling like yourself where you are in life right now? Are you lost? And you're just like, I have no idea who I am after insert whatever it is that you've experienced. For me, it was living away for a long period of time and being in stress for so long that I just lost who I was. And that's where this whole podcast came from me trying to find myself again. And if you're new here and this is your first time, go back and listen to episode 1 because I've come a long way. But it really started from me losing myself and wanting to feel like myself again. I just wanted to have confidence again. And I wanted to be that light in this world that I always knew inside me that I was, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. And so maybe you're facing that right now and you're just like, I have no idea. I'm on this identity journey too. Who the heck am I? How do I figure this out? And it keeps popping up for a reason. So let's dive into it together. First thing I wanted to talk about was just last week I celebrated my 33rd birthday. And normally I am not a gal who loves to highlight my birthday. I love to celebrate. I love to eat some cake. I love to do all the fun things that come with it. But it's just not something that I love sharing out loud. And I'm sure there are some things that we could focus on all about that. But what I wanted to focus on is one thing I do love about my birthday is the reflection that it comes with. I love looking back on past birthdays. I love looking back on the last year and what happened. And I think it was Google Photos sent me this thing like for things that happened in the last year. And I had this like mind-blowing moment of holy freaking crap. It's been a big year. There has been a lot of change. And I can often push that aside. I can often forget that and just be like, oh yeah, things happen, check the box. And I talked about that on last week's episode. But what I wanted to talk about, not in the past, but in the future, what I'm doing right now for myself, because I want this to be a big growth year. I have big dreams and big visions, and I want this to be a focus of mine, to work on myself and to love on myself and to grow in a way that feels really good. And honestly, since my birthday, since I started focusing on myself a bit more, I am seeing so much positive change in my energy and how I feel, and having better boundaries with myself and with my phone has been really big. And it's all stemming from just being more aware. So I set this program in place. I called it Operation Crowd Surf because I talked about on my stories that I have this dream of being able to crowd surf someday. And I know that that's not actually like what is going to happen when I speak on stage, and I'm not just going to be able to crowd surf, but I like to picture it in my head because I want to be my healthiest. I want to be able to dance around the stage and not have to stop and catch my breath. And even sometimes too, I get so excited on this podcast, just like right now, I'm like, I get so excited and I have to like stop and like catch my breath for a second. And I don't want to do that. Like I want to be able to speak and run and dance and crowd surf if that opportunity comes up for me. So Operation Crowd Surf is underway, and it has been focused on 3 small habits every single day. And if you're like me, small habits can make you really uncomfortable. You want to go big. You want to go as hard as you can, right? We think, oh my gosh, this is going to be a growth year. Awesome. Well, I'm going to do this massive, intensive challenge with hour-long workouts and hours and all these things, right? The craziest of crazy things. We think that's where we have to go. We have to go big. But from my experience in the last long time, if I go big, it's not sustainable. It's not going to last. I'm going to get a couple days in and I'm going to give up. I'm just going to throw in the towel because it's tiring. It's long. There'll be a day that I don't have enough time to do it. And then that just cuts the habit, even if I had been doing it for a few weeks. And this has been happening over and over and over again because I make goals too big. And I make sure to work with clients on creating small goals that are sustainable. So I thought, why not practice what I preach and actually do something that might last me the whole year? So I've been focusing on doing 10, 10, 10. 10 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of meditation, and 10 minutes of mind work every single day. So that's moving my body in a way that feels good. And for me, that had to be outside of walking my dog because that's her movement. I know that some people are going to come at me and be like, actually, it's movement for you too. 100% it is, but I wanted something for me. So maybe it's even 10 minutes on my spin bike, 10 minutes of doing yoga. It doesn't matter. For the most part, I know I will show up and do more, but I have to do at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's it. I can go downstairs and even walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and that would count. It just had to be outside of walking my usual around the block with the dog. And then 10 minutes of meditation is the next one. And oftentimes I can stack that onto my workout. So in the gym, as soon as my workout's done, I will do my 10 minutes of meditation. But I will tell you, this one is the hardest one for me. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, every time there's a habit challenge of some sort that I'm working towards, it's always meditation. I really want to be consistent with meditation. And for some reason, it's the one that I let slide all the time. But with this 10-10-10 challenge, the only way I can check the box is by doing all three, by doing 10 minutes of every single task that I want to do. And that's only a half an hour of the day. Let's just say that, like 10 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of growth. That's it. That's a half an hour. I can do that, right? I can do that every single day. But the meditation one is the hardest one for me. And some nights, even last night, I just laid down in bed and I did a meditation in bed. So sometimes it's like the last thing I do in the day. It's very rarely the first thing that I put on my list to do, but I'm trying to incorporate more times where I do 10 minutes of meditation. And the last 10 minutes I have is mind. So any kind of growth. That could be reading in my book, like a personal development book. It could be 10 minutes of a podcast. It could be 10 minutes of the coursework that I'm working on right now. I went on some growth group calls. That can be 10 minutes of that. It can be a variety of different things as long as it's feeding into my mind. And those small things every day, they have not been perfect. There is one day that I didn't get that meditation in, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. So I want to do this for 365 days. If I allow myself some grace now, I know it's going to grow into so much more. And at day 365, I won't even realize the couple days that I messed up. It's not a big deal. But the reason that I'm telling you this is because we often get caught up in it being a huge thing. It has to be this big life transition thing, signing up for massive courses and doing, going back to school and changing our jobs and being huge in different ways. And of course, those things are awesome. We can celebrate those things too. But can we stop and celebrate the little things? Like doing your 10 minutes of meditation when it's been so hard for you to create that habit. Or getting in 10 minutes of movement when you haven't stepped into the gym in a really long time. Or maybe it's picking up a book that you've been wanting to read that you haven't read because it's just sitting on your bedside table because you're just like, I'll rather scroll on my phone, right? It's easier to scroll on our phone. It's easier to, insert whatever you're numbing with, watch another episode of Netflix, go out for a drink, whatever it is. There's so many ways that we fill our time with the things that we don't want to be doing. And for me, that's my phone a lot. So I've been setting better boundaries with my phone and in the morning focusing on these three things, these three small things, 10 minutes of each. And my whole energy has changed in these last couple weeks. It's not even been a couple weeks. I feel like it's been a week and a half. Everything has changed for me in this. I'm excited to journal. I'm excited to chat with my clients. I'm excited to try new opportunities and to learn new things. And I'm feeling like myself again. And it's only been a week and a half. And those small actions didn't take much effort on me. And I made sure to put no rules around them really, because I can be really hard on myself when I don't check the box, or when, I do it differently and it's like, did that count or did that not? That is really what's hurting my identity, right? It's hurting my confidence to put all these rules in place around these things that I really want to do, when in all, it's just a matter of picking up my book and reading for 10 minutes. Or it's a matter of sitting down and being with myself for 10 minutes, or moving my body in a way that I really enjoy for 10 minutes. That's it. And we can get caught up in the I'm not enough, it's not enough, I'm not doing enough, this isn't going to make a difference, that voice in our head that's so hard on us. And we can get caught up in the you messed up, you suck, you're doing it wrong, you should have done it this way, you should have done that way, put all these rules in place that we often do. And that is not fair to us, right? That's hindering your confidence and that's hindering your growth. When really all I wanted was to find myself again. And I don't even like saying find myself again, right? Just to know myself, to know who I am, and to spend time with myself and enjoy spending time with myself, right? 10 minutes of meditation is essentially 10 minutes of spending time with myself. Okay, I can do that. But there's something about sitting there for 10 minutes with just myself and just my thoughts that can be really uncomfortable. So I'm really leaning into that. I want to know myself. And as I've said many times on this podcast, knowing yourself is where your confidence comes from. Knowing that you like pizza over sushi is confidence, right? It's a part of just being you and being authentically you. And that's such a beautiful gift. And we don't give it the time of day. And that's why I think this theme of identity work keeps coming up, because I know I'm not alone in this. So many of us get lost in our work and in our families and in, all of the things that we have to do and in the goals that we set and in the tasks that we do. And it's so freaking heavy on us that we forget that we're human, that we just need to get to know ourselves, and that we just need to, have thoughts of our own in different ways and being able to share that with other people. And I truly believe the thing that holds us back from knowing ourselves and feeling like ourselves and finding that beauty within us is ourselves. It's us. We're the ones holding ourselves back. And of course, there are things in this world that can dim our light too. There's relationships and work, and there's things out there that can dim our life. But we are in control of shining that light more. It's us. It's in us, right? It's doing these tasks that light you up. And I can say the 10-10-10 is working for me. Operation Crowd Surf is working for me. But it's going to be different for you because you're unique and you're totally different. So what do you need? Maybe it's 1 minute of each. Setting it really small, I know that voice in your head has already said that's not enough. You're not enough, but you are. 1 minute of each thing that you want to do every single day is going to have a huge impact on the end of the year. So it's time to dim that voice in your head, to turn it down, turn the dial down a little bit, and turn up the dial on the one that says, you know what, 1 minute is enough. 2 minutes is enough. Spending time with myself, even in the car before I go into the house at the end of the day for 5 minutes alone is enough. And if you're the person who pulls into the driveway and your kids come running out to your car, then I need you to park down the street and take those 5 minutes before you get into that driveway. Because you spending some time with yourself, without the distractions, without the noise, without anything, is going to have a huge impact on you finding yourself and knowing yourself and starting to learn what you actually want in this world. And I know that voice in your head can get in the way. She gets in the way of mine too. And I've had podcast episodes on this before, but when I was sitting in the car with a girlfriend the other night, we went to the gym and then we wanted to have a little chat in the car. And she said to me, that voice in her head, that mean girl in her head, isn't invited to the retreats. She's come to both retreats. She's been an active member in this community for a while. And when she said that, I was like, wait, what? She's not invited. And even if she were invited, the people in that room wouldn't let her come in. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? That mean girl, that mean voice in your head, the one that tells you that you're not enough, the one that tells you that you're not doing enough. You get a break from her when you come to the retreat? And she said, yeah, she's not welcome. She's not welcome to come there. And she doesn't want to come because she knows she has no power in that room. And it was that moment of realization that we sometimes get a break from that voice in our head. We sometimes get a break to just learn and know more about ourselves. And I think that's why when sisters come to an event or go to a retreat or go outside of their normal everyday life, they get these big awakenings and these big moments of finding themselves because they get a break from that voice in their head always telling them they can't do it and always telling them that they're not enough. And if they speak it and if they say it like, this is kind of how I feel, of course, other people in the room can relate to that. but they don't let that voice have power in that room. Can you imagine going through life with that kind of energy, right? That the voice in our head didn't have power. So how do we silence her? How do we get past having that voice have control over every decision we make in our life and every decision we don't make in our life? And I think the most important piece to that is speaking it out loud. Those things that we're saying in our head, we hide and we say like, oh, nobody else is thinking these things. Nobody else is doing this. Like I could never admit that I am feeling this way or thinking this way because people are going to think I'm crazy. People are going to just judge me. But the truth is, we're all thinking and feeling that way, especially as women. We have so much societal pressure on us every single day that we have these thoughts. They're so heavy and they make so many clouds in our brain and it's so uncomfortable. And for some reason, we think we're alone. And when you get in these rooms and you start to talk to other people and you start to voice what that thing in your head is saying, you learn and you realize that you're not alone. And that's freaking powerful. So I want you to voice what's in your head. Have someone that you feel really safe with and share what's going on in your head. Because we all know if a friend came to us and we sat down and they were like, girl, this is how I'm feeling, we would be like, that is crazy. You are crazy. You're doing enough. Have you not seen all the work you're putting in? Oh my gosh, sister, you are amazing. Don't let that voice in your head tell you otherwise. And for a few minutes, you believe that. For a few minutes, you believe your friend's voice over the voice in your head. We need to be doing that more. Over and over and over again until we finally believe that that's the truth, that we are enough, that we're doing enough, that our goals are meaningful and valid, and that doing 1 minute of meditation a day is enough. When you speak it out loud, you're giving that voice in your head less power. And I think that's powerful, right? And I had a conversation with a client the other day too, who was having a lot of struggles with the voice in their head, telling them all of these things that were not true. And I said, why don't you name her? Give her a name. She said, I don't want to give her that power. And I get that. That's deep, right? Giving her a name would give some kind of power away to her. But I actually saw it in a different way. By giving her a name, it made her my friend. And by making her my friend, it was easier for me to silence her, right? Because again, if a friend came up to me and said, this, that, all these things that I'm doing wrong, right? Easily I could put her in her place and say, wait. No. Not today. Not today. You're not going to talk like that today. It's easier when it's your friend because you would never let your friend say those things about herself. But for some reason you're letting yourself say those things every day, every minute for some of us. So name her, make her your friend, because I truly believe you will have more control if she's your friend. You'll be able to stand up to her. You'll be able to tell her, not today, if she's your friend, because that's what you would do for a friend, right? Think of your very best friend, and she comes to you and she's telling you, oh man, I'm the worst mom. Today I messed up on this. Oh, I forgot to sign that permission slip. Oh, I've been doing this or that wrong. I forgot the laundry in the washing machine again for 3 days. All these things that we tell ourselves we do wrong. We would say to them, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't define you. That's not who you are. So make her your friend and have these conversations with her. And if that doesn't work for you, if speaking it out loud and sharing with someone you love or making her your friend doesn't work for you, try turning the volume down. A coach said this to me once, that you can just have this dial, that voice in your head, there's like a volume dial. And you can physically go in your brain and turn it down. Turn that voice down. And you don't have to turn it all the way down. Just turn it down enough that she's not there all the freaking time. And turn up the volume on the voice that says, you can do it. This is an amazing dream. You have power. You can do amazing things. Turn up the voice on the one that says you can, and turn down the volume on the one that says you can't. The one that keeps reminding you, because for some reason, we give that one the higher volume in our head. We let the one that says we can't do it, because that's for some reason what we believe. But the one that says we can't do it, we give them so much volume, so much noise in our head. Turn it down. Turn it down. And turn up the one that says you can. And if you don't have a dial in your head for the one that says you can, I want you to listen to this podcast more. I want you to connect with someone. I want you to join the sisterhood, because that is a community of people who tell you you can. Your dreams are valid. They were given to you for a reason. And that voice in your head is holding you back. It's trying to keep you safe. I get it, but you're safe. You can do this. Worst thing that comes is failure. And we learn from failure. So what if we fail? Lean into that. Feel that power. And keep rewarding the voice that says you can by doing the things. And if you're really struggling with this, I want to remind you that my 6-week self-discovery course is coming up starting May 17th. We'll be going through, as a group, through some different programs to help you find your identity. If you felt lost or you've gone through something really big lately and you're just like, I don't know who I am after this. I get it. I've been there. That's why I created this course. We go through things like who am I and what do I like to what do I want in this world and how can I bring it to life? There's so many different things that we go through in these 6 weeks, and that group coaching aspect, every week we sit down and have a weekly call, is really special because you get to lean and learn from the other people in the group, and you start to learn that you're not alone. And again, that voice in your head is not welcome on these calls. So you'll get an hour every week to truly sit and be with yourself and believe in yourself, and have a community behind you on a platform totally off of social media that helps you to finally see that you can do it. That turns the volume down on the voice that says you can't. And in this space, we amplify the voice that says you can. And I love that. It's one of my favorite programs to do. And so we're starting May 17th. There'll be weekly lessons, weekly group coaching calls, weekly workbooks, and all these things that you can really dive into who you are and walk into summer feeling more confident. And I'm not talking about we're walking into summer because we got to lose 10 pounds. Nuh-uh. We're walking into summer feeling like we know ourselves and leaning into that power that we have and truly embracing who we are without changing anything other than our mindset and that voice in our head. I am so freaking proud of you and proud of all the work that you've been putting in. I know it's hard. I am right there with you. It is so hard. So what can you do for 1 minute today? What can you do for a couple minutes? Is it your nothing pocket? Is it sitting totally alone for 10 minutes? What is it that you can do today for yourself to get to know yourself a little bit better and take that judgment off and really start to love yourself in a way that's beautiful? I love you so much, and I'm so freaking proud of you. What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.